Imagine this, you spent the last 3 weeks agonizing over this massive sales presentation that you're going to give to your boss, and you've actually outlined everything. You have the perfect deck, you have the perfect sales data, you have perfected and mastered all of the icons, all of the imagery, everything that you're putting in this presentation. You've practiced all week and now you're ready to go. But you spent the last 12 hours agonizing over these details in painstaking clarity. And now you're asked, when do you want to do your presentation? Is it 8 a.m., 9 a.m., or 10 a.m.? What slot do you want to take? And you're stuck. You go blank for a second and you realize you can't make a decision. Why? Well, this is what is known as decision fatigue. After a prolonged period of intense decision making, and your brain goes into overdrive, it shuts down and you're no longer able to make the effective decisions that you want to take. This is something that creeps up on us without us even realizing. How can we actually prevent this, and how can we actually take advantage of the techniques and the tools that we can use in order to make more effective decisions? That way we're not hamstringing ourselves in the moment that we need to rely on ourselves the most. What we need to understand is that decision fatigue isn't just a feeling, it's a studied neurobiological effect and cause that happens after we spent a long time, and it's basically our cognitive abilities diminishing ability to make effective decisions, especially after a long time of consequent or consistent decision making. What we do is we don't realize it, but we start to look for shortcuts. We start to take ineffective decisions that take us further and further away from our goals. Next, let's look at the psychological underpinnings of what decision fatigue actually is. There's a well-known psychological study that was performed that portrays this and illustrates this clearly. We had Group A and Group B that were given a series of inanimate objects that were not particularly interesting, things like tennis balls, comic books, t-shirts, and both groups were asked to make a decision on these items. First, whereas Group A, that were considered to be the deciders, were specifically asked and told that their decisions would lead to a specific outcome. So their decisions held weight. Versus Group B, which were considered to be the non-deciders, they were just asked to give their opinions of the products, and they weren't told anything about the implications behind these opinions or these decisions. What was found out is during the day, the Group A actually suffered from fatigue way faster in their decision making and in their ability to form consequential feedback and actual descriptions of the products that they were given, versus Group B that were able to sustain their ability to make decisions and to actually give observations about the products much longer. The same work was performed with both groups in mind, but Group A actually was performing these decisions in a way that led to their decision fatigue versus Group B. What are the perils of decision fatigue, or what are the consequences of decision fatigue? Take it from me, as someone who suffers from decision fatigue on a day-to-day basis. I probably make around 100 or 200 unique decisive decisions every single day. And I know that during the beginning of the day or in the middle of the day, I'm freshest, I'm able to take decisions effectively and decisively. And during the end of the day, I definitely feel it wearing on me mentally. My decisions become less sharp, they become less clear, and sometimes they become less and more irrational as time goes on. You have to look at your willpower and your ability to take decisions as something akin to a battery. A battery is not unlimited. It needs to be recharged and it needs to have a moment to recharge. So take a step back. If you want to continue to make effective decisions, be selective with what you're taking decisions on. Most people take on more than they can chew, and they end up taking decisions on things that are inconsequential and depleting that decision ability or decision making ability and onsetting that fatigue way earlier than it needed to be. Take IKEA as a clear example of how companies can help you to offset decision fatigue so you can make smarter purchasing decisions. Anyone who's been to an IKEA knows that it's huge. The selection quantity is massive. You have aisles upon aisles of different home decor, different tables, cabinets, chairs. There's so much to select from. This is why IKEA strategically places its restaurants and its cafes in the middle of its store. That way, when you're on your IKEA journey, you're in that linear path that you have to take along any IKEA journey, you can and will take a moment to relax, to grab a bite to eat, to grab a coffee, and just to unwind. This gives you an opportunity to recharge your decision-making ability. That way, you feel more convinced with your purchase and how you made that purchase, as opposed to sort of feeling that it's something that you wanted to get out of the way because of this overwhelming feeling that was beginning to come onto you. So what does all of this mean for you? It means that you're human. It means that decision fatigue affects everyone. It affects the best of us and it affects the worst of us. Being aware of how decision fatigue actually has an implication and impact in our day-to-day gives us the tools to understand ourselves when we're going to be freshest and the most effective. That way, the next time you have that special presentation that you need to plan and you need to take, you'll be able to strategically time it out. That way, you're the freshest and you're able to bring the best possible version of yourself. Personally, for me, when I like to hold large meetings, important meetings with customers and clients, I like to hold them in the morning when I'm the freshest and the most able to give 100%. I'm able to take decisions decisively and in a way that gives and benefits the outcome of everyone involved.